Hello, I am Professor Kalpesh Patel, Electrical Engineering Department from the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. Our subject is Power Electronics of the BE third year 5th sem, and the subject code is 3140915. Our second chapter is DC to DC converter switching voltage regulators. This is the flow of contents from which up to the boost converter up to the buck converter we have completed in previous lecture. So in this lecture we will conduct the boost converter. Now boost converter, and this is the basic circuit for boost converter. Boost converter, that means it step up the input voltage. That means output voltage is greater than the input voltage. Here output voltage is V0 and input voltage is V in. So V0 is greater than V in. That's why this converter is known as the boost converter, which step up the input voltage. In boost converter, main component is switch S, which is the semiconductor switch, either BJT, MOSFET or IGBT. Here one inductor is L, here diode, filter capacitor C, and load, resistive load R. In boost converter, there is two mode. First one is when switch S is on, and second mode is when switch S is off. So what happen in these different two modes we will see in details. One mode when switch S is on, so that means now current is flow from this source to inductor and inductor to switch through the source. So during this time energy stored in the inductor L. So voltage across the inductor, which is the VL, which is equal to the supplied voltage V in, fully appear across the inductor. And when all we know, when we applied the supply to inductor, the inductor initially act as an open circuit. So the initial current flow from the inductor is very small and linearly increase from this point to the peak value. So the current inductor IL is initially is the IA magnitude and linearly increase from this IA to IL peak current during the mode 1 or a when switch S is on, and the second mode when switch S is off. When switch S is off, so this energy, this supply V in and the energy stored in the inductor, which is added together and supplied to the load. So this across this load we get the addition of two energies. One is the input supply V in and one is the energy stored in the inductor. So at here we get the higher energy compared to the input voltage. So here voltage develop across the load which is higher than the input voltage. So in this mode, input voltage is added with the inductor's voltage. So here we get the total voltage VO, which is equal to the VL voltage plus V in voltage. So in these conditions, voltage across the inductor is the input voltage minus the output voltage. So in this situation, voltage across the inductor is input voltage minus output voltage. As we all know, the energy stored in the inductor in, so it is the plus. When the inductor release the energy, so this terminal become positive. So in this situation, the voltage across the inductor become negative. So here we indicate that it is the negative value across the inductor, which is equal to V in minus VO. So the here we out at the output side we get the higher voltage compared to the input voltage. In this situation, the inductor current decreased linearly from its peak value. So it is the linearly decrease from peak value to some value IB. Further we turn on the switch S, So it is lies linearly from this point to this. Now voltage transfer functions. So what is the value of output voltage VO, which is determined by the two methods? The first one is the average voltage method. First condition, first consider the switch S is open. So that means Vx, which is the voltage across the switch. So when switch S is open, fully voltage Vin will be appear across the switch. So Vx equal to Vin. So uh, this is the off period when switch S is off, and this is the on period when switch S is on. So this time is known as the T on time, and this time is known as the T off time, and total time Ts equal to T on plus T off. So voltage across the switch, which is given by during the off time, equal to VO T off by Ts. VO T off by Ts equal to the duty cycle of duty cycle T off. So which is Vx equal to the V in. So this Vx we replace by V in equal to VO D off. So output voltage VO equal to the V in divided by D off. So the output voltage is depend on the D of duty cycle and the input voltage V in. And the second method is the delta I method. Delta I is the ripple current in the inductor. So this is the minimum value of inductor, and this is the peak value of inductor. So difference in peak value and this value is known as the delta I, which is the ripple current in the inductor. So during turn off time, inductor current IL is given by V in by L, and during the off time, inductor current is magnitude become negative because it's decreasing. So this value is negative VO minus V in divided by L. This current and this current both are the same value. So this current flow during the T on time, and this current flow during T off time. So if we compare these two currents, so it become V in divided by L, V in divided by L for T on time equal to the V0 V in divided by L for the T off time. So this equation become this. If we solve this equation, it become like this: V in into T on plus T off equal to V0 T off. Your T on plus T off equal to the total time Ts. So VO divided by V in equal to T off total time T S divided by T off. So as all we know, T off by T is the D off time. So VO by V in is the 1 over D off, because here we upper side numerator is Ts and denominator is T off. D off is defined as the T off divided by Ts. So here V0 by V in equal to 1 over D off. Now the exact circuit of the boost converter. So in boost converter using the power MOSFET is shown in figure. Here switch S is selected as a MOSFET, which is indicated by the M1. So whenever the gate is applied to the MOSFET, become turns on, and if we remove gate signal and connect this gate to the source or by gate drivers IC, we can turn off the MOSFET. So this operation of the boost converter is divided in two modes, mode 1 and mode 2. Mode 1 start when the transistor is on, and mode 2 start when the transistor in off conditions. So this total time T on of the MOSFET and T off of the MOSFET is the total time Ts. So if we consider, if K is the duty cycle, that means turn on time is 0 to KT. and turn off time is kt to t. Now the switch is turned on at t equal to 0. So the inductor current linearly rising from this value to this value. So fully voltage Vs which appear across the inductor and the input current Is flow through this inductor and the switch up to the on time. So if you consider the on time between 0 and the kt, so it increased from I1 to the I2 and reach at the peak value I2 at the end of this interval at time kt. At this point kt, now the mode 2 is operated, in which the switch S is closed or MOSFET is turned off. So the inductor current linearly decreases from this peak value to this minimum value I1, and this inductor. So during turn off time, the inductor current linearly decreases from this peak value to the I1 value. So this ripple in the inductor current is known as the ripple current. It is defined as the delta I. So when the switch is off, this current decreases from I2 to the I1, and so the input current is given by this inductor current and the IL current, but this is the I1 current, this I1 current which is flow only during the when switch S is closed. So this is the capacitor current IC. When switch S is on, it is the negative value and its magnitude is given by IA IC, and when switch S is on, its value given by this positive and linearly decrease from I2 to the I1. After this point, cycle will be repeated. This is the VC capacitor voltage. So during turn off time, the capacitor voltage discharge and decreasing. When switch S is turned off, so input energy is transferred to the load, so it is linearly increased from this point to this. So this is the difference in the capacitance voltage. So this delta VC is known as the ripple in the capacitance voltage. But the load current I0, which is flow continuously, because when switch S is on, the current is flow through the capacitor, and when switch S is off, current is flow through the source, through the capacitor, also through the load. So output current which is maintained constant during the both the interval mode 1 and mode 2. So at the output side we get a constant voltage V0, which is equal to the load R into the load current IS. Now we derive all the equations like inductor current IL, output voltage, capacitor voltage, ripple current, ripple voltage, step by step. So if we assume the inductor current lies linearly from I1 to I2 during time t1, so this time t1 is the turn on time. So this voltage Vs, voltage across the inductor, which is given by the magnitude of the inductance L, and I2 minus I1 by T1. I2 minus I1 equal to delta I by T1. So from this equation, T1 equal to L delta I by Vs, and the inductor current falls linearly from I2 to the I1 during time T2 or turn off time. So in these situations, the current is become negative. So inductance voltage across the inductance is given by the input voltage minus output voltage, and the voltage across inductance by the its inductance value, which is the minus L delta I by T2. So from this equation, T2 equal to delta IL divided by VA minus VS. This minus alternate this equation, so it becomes VA minus VS. Now delta is the I2 minus I1 peak to peak ripple in the inductor current. So delta I equal to the VS T1 divided by L. So this delta is defined as the VS T1 divided by L, and this delta is defined as the VA minus VS T2 divided by L. So if we compare these two equations of the delta, it becomes this. Now the output voltage VA is given by the VA equal to VS total time T divided by T of time. But the T1 is the KT, where K is the duty cycle and T2 is the 1 minus KT. So if we replace T2 as 1 minus K, so 1 minus K become VS divided by VA. VS divided by VA. So substituting K is the T1 by T and T1 by T. So T1 over T equal to F. So K equal to T1 F. So T1 equal to, from the equation 5.63, VS minus VA minus VS divided by VAF. So in this equation, if we replace the value of K by T1F, so it is 1 minus T1F equal to VS minus VA. If we make the T1 equal, so by solving this equation, so T1 equal to VA minus VS divided by VAF. Assuming a lossless circuit, that means lossless, that means no loss in the converter. That means whatever the input is given to the converter, we get the 100% outputs. So input given to the converter is VS IS, which is VS is the supply voltage and IS is the supply current. At the output side, voltage across the load, which is the VA, and the load current is IA. So this two is same because lossless circuit. So VA equal to 1 minus VS by 1 minus K. So VA equal to VS by 1 minus K into IA, and the average input current IS equal to the IA upon 1 minus K. The switching period T can be found from T equal to 1 by F, which is the summation of the T1 plus T2. Now the T1 equal to delta I L by Vs, delta I L by Vs, and T2 equal to delta IL divided by VA minus Vs, delta IL divided by VA minus Vs. If we solve this equation, it becomes this, delta IL VA divided by Vs in bracket VA minus Vs. So from this equation, delta I is given by delta I equal to Vs VA minus Vs divided by FLVA, or delta I equal to VA VSK divided by FL. In this equation, if we replace the VA equal to Vs divided by 1 minus K, so by solving this equation we get delta I equal to VSK divided by FL. When the transistor is on, the capacitor supplies the load current for T equal to T1. So during turn on time, capacitor will supply the current. So the average capacitor current during T on time is the IC, and which is equal to the load current IA. So peak to peak ripple voltage in capacitor, it is delta Vc, given by voltage across capacitor is 1 over C 0 to T1 IC dt. So it is 1 over C 0 to T1 IC equal to the IA. So here we put the IC equal to IA. So by solving these equations, we get the IA T1 divided by C. By substituting the value of T1 equal to VA minus Vs divided by VAF from these equations, so delta Vc equal to IA divided by C, and the T1 equal to the VA minus Vs divided by VAF. So So delta Vc equal to this. If we further solve this equation, it becomes delta Vc equal to IAK divided by Fc. Now the condition for the continuous inductor current and the capacitor voltage. If IL is the average inductor current, so delta I is defined as twice IL. Using equation 5.62 and 5.68, VA equal to Vs upon 1 minus K and delta I equal to Vsk upon Vsk divided by FL. So if we put, so from this equation, Vsk divided by FL equal to the delta I and delta I equal to the twice L. Inductor current is the output current Ia, so twice L equal to the twice Ia and twice Ia equal to the load current. So it is the output voltage divided by R, VO by R, but VO equal to the Vs upon 1 minus K. So if we solve these equations by the indicating this L as a critical inductance, so this become LC. So LC equal to the K 1 minus K R divided by twice F, which gives the critical value of the inductance for the continuous conduction of the inductor current. If Vc is the average capacitor voltage and capacitor ripple voltage delta Vc equal to twice Va. So using 5.71 equations, delta Vc equal to IAK by Fc, delta Vc equal to IAK by Fc equal to the delta Vc equal to twice Va equal to twice Va twice Va equal to the IAR. So if we solve this equation and critical value of the capacitance Cc equal to the K divided by 2Fr, this Ia and this Ia will cancel out, so K equal to C critical capacitance value C equal to the K divided by 2R and F as it is. So for the continuous conduction of inductor current and capacitor voltage, value required of the inductance L minimum is the K 1 minus K R divided by twice F, and the critical value of capacitance C is equal to K divided by 2FR. If you put the value less than this value, so it becomes discontinuous conduction mode. Discontinuous conduction mode, that means the current becomes zero during the some intervals, but in continuous conduction mode the current never becomes the zero, as I explained in the previous lectures. So the boost regulator can step up the output voltage without the transformer. Due to the single transistor, it has the high efficiency. Input current is continuous. However, the high peak current has flow through the power transistors. So the output voltage is very sensitive to the change in the duty cycle K, and it might be difficult to stabilize the regulator. So the average output current is less than the average inductor current by the factor of 1 minus K, and much higher RMS current will flow through the filter capacitor, resulting I is used of the larger filter capacitance and the larger inductor than those of the buck converters. Now one example to find the current and voltage in the boost regulator. A boost regulator has the input voltage Vs equal to 5 volt and the average output voltage Va equal to 15 volts. So we have to step up the voltage 5 volt to the 15 volts, and the average load current Ia equal to the 0.5 ampere. Switching frequency F is 25 kHz. If L equal to 150 microhenry and C equal to 220 microfarad, determine first A duty cycle K, ripple current in inductor delta I, peak current in inductor I2, and the ripple voltage of the filter capacitor delta Vc, and finally the critical value of L and C for the continuous inductor current and the continuous capacitor voltage. So from this parameter we write Vs equal to 5 volt, V equal to 15 volts, F equal to 25 kilohertz, L is 150 microhenry, C is 220 microfarad. So first we find A, which is the duty cycle K. Duty cycle K is given by the equation 5.62. Va equal to Vs upon 1 minus K. Va equal to the output voltage, which is 15 volt. Vs equal to the 5 volt. So by solving this equation we get the K. So V equal to 15, Vs equal to 5 divided by 1 minus K. So K equal to 2 by 3 or 0.66. So it is in percentage 66.67%. And second one is the ripple current inductor delta I. So delta I equal to Vsk divided by Fl. Vs equal to 5, K equal to 1 minus K divided by F 25 kilohertz, else 1 minus 150 micro Henry. So it is 115 to 10 raised to minus 6. So by solving this equation we get the 0.89 ampere. And peak current of inductor I2. So I2 equal to the Is plus delta I by 2. But delta I equal to the 0.89 divided by 2. So Is equal to the source current, which is given by the equation 5.65. Is equal to Ia upon 1 minus K. Ia is the load current, which is the 0.5 ampere. It is 0.5 by 1 minus K. So it is 1.5 ampere plus delta I by 2, 0.89 by 2. So total peak current I2 equal to the 1.945 ampere. Ripple voltage of the capacitor. So it is the delta Vc from equation 5.71. 5.71 delta Vc equal to Iak divided by Fc. Iak divided by Fc 220 microfarad. So this gives the value of 60.61 millivolt. So it is very small amount. So output voltage vary from this value. Ripple in the output voltage is 60 millivolt, which is the very less amount. So here we consider output voltage is constant voltage. The critical value of LNC, critical value of LC equal to 1 K 1 minus K R divided by twice F. K 1 minus K K R by twice F. 1 minus K K R equal to VA by VA by IA, output voltage, output current. So it is the 30 ohms. So R is 30 ohms divided by 2, F 25 kilohertz. So this gives the critical value LC equal to 133 microhenry. And critical value of capacitor CC equal to K by 2 FR. K is 0.66 divided by 2, F 25 kilohertz, R is 30, which gives the critical value of capacitance CC equal to the 4.44 microfarad. Now the GTO questions. Explain the boost converter with figure and different mode of operations and derive the output equations. Maybe ask for 7 marks. Explain the working of switching boost regulator circuits. 7 marks. Describe the principal operation of buck boost DC to DC converter. Maybe ask for 4 marks. Write fifth one. These two question answers of the boost converter. So fifth one is show the critical diagram of waveform for step-up converter and express the output equation in terms of the input voltage and duty cycles. This is the example of the step-up converter. So as the input voltage 25 volt, the output voltage 500 volts. So we have to double the input voltage. And the chopper period is 5 microseconds. The total time is given 500 microseconds. Determine the pulse width of the output voltage If the pulse width is reduced to one third of the constant frequency operation and find the output voltage, you will be asked for 7 marks in your GTU examinations. These question 3 and question 4 of the buck boost converter, which will be seen in the next lecture. So in this lecture we completed the boost converter. In next lecture we will conduct the buck boost converters. Thank you.